We're starting over now, right?
Why?
Because this is the most incoherent fucking babbly shit ever. This is terrible.
Hey, there are good reviews all over YouTube. YouTube needs a review like this.
Hi, welcome back to the first episode of Trash Day, where we bring out the trash in movies. I'm here with these guys.
Hey,
I'm guy one. He's guy two.
hi. You put me on the spot. You know I'm not good in front of the camera.
Oh, well, this is a great fucking source for you.
Yeah.
Freeze right now. Godzilla 2014. We watched that, and we also watched Godzilla X. Well, most of the people here watched
2/3 of the party.
X-Long.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna compare and contrast them.
Kinda.
Stay tuned.
I want to talk to somebody in charge. Because what's really happening is that you're hiding something out there. And it is going to send us back to the Stone Age. God help us all. In 1954, we awakened something.
And we're back.
All right.
A dinosaur tale.
Dinosaur
story.
Okay, 2014. So Godzilla 2014 was released in, get this, 2014.
Well,
Never
it was
would've guessed.
just called Godzilla.
Yeah, it was.
Right. But now it's called Godzilla 2014. Kind of like World War I wasn't called World War I
Just called
until
World War.
afterwards.
Oh.
Series of events, people. Series of
Yeah.
events.
Okay.
So Godzilla 2014 was what?
I said, let's do this.
We are doing this. I was in the middle of doing this when you derailed the whole thing.
That's what I do.
Or 3.5.
Much like the train that was derailed by a giant kaiju. In Godzilla.
Godzilla 2014.
The gobbledygook.
It was Godzilla 2015.
All right. So anyways,
it was a cheap imitation of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Are we gonna fucking do this or what?
I thought
Can
we were
only
doing
be found on LimeWire.
We were in the middle of doing this. I guess we're starting over.
No, we're not. We're only 4 minutes in.
Yeah.
Keep going. If we rush through it, we'll be done in no time.
Never gonna be able to stop, I guess. All right. Comes in at 2 hours and 3 minutes. So that's 123 minutes for the metric users.
Yes.
The metric users. Minutes. It's a measurement of distance.
Anyways, Rotten Tomato gave it 76%. That's the critic score, and 66% was the
User score.
the user score, which is not surprising, to be honest, because I think it was a well thought out movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what people go to see Godzilla for.
Yeah.
IMDb 6.4, Metacritic 63%. So audiences in general in the mid 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just above average.
So we start out with Heisenberg.
Say my name.
Bryan Cranston.
Heisenberg. Yeah, you've seen the show.
Yeah.
You've seen it. It's poorly unfixed or whatever. Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Yeah, that would be it.
Okay. Anyway, so Heisenberg, he ends up killing his wife with radiation.
Spoilers.
It happens right at the beginning. So there's an incident, and we don't know at the time, but it's caused by some kaiju activity or whatever. But we don't know that Godzilla is a thing that exists. Fast forward some amount of time, and
15 years.
Kick-Ass is now, his son.
Who are you? I'm Kick-Ass.
That's Aaron Taylor Johnson for the Quicksilver For those of you that don't know.
In the movie, his name is Ford.
Ford, like the truck.
Yeah.
Eldritch Blast.
Chevy all the way. All right, anyway, so...
Fjord.
I don't really give a shit. So, anyways,
Okay.
Yep.
he's married to Scarlet Witch.
I don't even know who you are.
You will.
Who is
Elizabeth Olsen.
one of the Olsen twins.
L.
Not
The Olsen.
one of the Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen.
She
who
is
was,
the triplet that was born like 4 years later.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how triplets work.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a temporal displacement of the
Each
triplets.
more identical than
Didn't
the
know there
last.
were so many wormholes in the Olsen.
So they're like the humans that we follow around, especially because Ford is Heisenberg's son.
Yes.
Okay, so we first follow Bryan Cranston because that was one of the selling points. It's like, hey, look, it's fucking Bryan Cranston, right?
Don't worry, won't get far.
So we follow him. He suspects that there's something going on. He doesn't know it's Godzilla, but that's what it is. We meet Serizawa and we meet some other characters.
Yeah.
Those are the four that I
My
remember.
question is, you're getting pretty in depth, and
You're getting pretty in depth.
We have to do 2
I know.
movies, and how are we going to...
Okay,
how
so-
long did you want these to be?
Shush.
What the hell was that?
Shush. Don't shush me.
Anyways, he dies.
What color shirt was he wearing, and what material was it?
We see the Mutos. They come
Cashmere.
out. The Mutos, whatever. A massive unidentified terrestrial organism. That's not what it is, but I just made that up. Okay, so
No, it actually is what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Massive,
clapping.
unidentified terrestrial organism.
Oh shit! I'm gonna think I have to edit here.
Let them fight.
Yeah, exactly.
That dumbass editor just here's
What
clapping.
audio am I
Just
supposed to
click
play?
on.
Why do I keep clapping? Is this a cue to myself? I don't understand.
No,
My lights in my room keep going on and off. What?
Why? Stop. Stop.
Anyways, so Godzilla beats up. Oh, excuse me.
It's right through. You better
So
stop talking.
the Mutos are like modeled after basically crickets. They're giant fucking crickets.
Yeah.
And then you get, Godzilla, who's a giant lizard, and battle ensues and
Crickets
whatever.
mixed with staple removers.
Right, okay. So anyways, there's not a lot of monster fighting in the monster movie, but that's because this is like a serious movie. Like, they follow the human characters. We're supposed to be invested in the human characters, right? Mm-hmm. Again, that's not what a Godzilla... I was into the plot a little bit. I normally don't care about that kind of stuff. The successive ones, the other ones that came after that in between, I just... Come on. Jesus. Especially with the neon lights in one of them. Anyways, let's get past that. So Godzilla X Kong, we saw that.
Welcome to my world. Is that a mini Kong?
Why don't you do this part because I went too slow and long and all that kind of stuff. Go ahead, do a better job.
Okay, Godzilla X Kong was a movie that was supposed to be about Godzilla and Kong.
But it really was just about Kong. See, we follow Kong. I'm sorry, I just had to do that. Go ahead.
He's right, there was, for a Godzilla named first movie, there was a hell of a lot more about Kong. It should have been Kong and maybe Godzilla here.
Godzilla shows up.
Basically what happens
Godzilla is a kitten, and Kong is the human.
a monkey. Yes, exactly. For like to put it very, very broadly.
Godzilla like literally is just a cat on the prowl for shit. Like first he goes and gets the playthings that he gets to get all the power, and then he's after the next thing. Like he sleeps inside the goddamn Coliseum like a fucking cat. Like he seriously is just a fucking cat in the movie. And Kong is like his human, but he's like a big cat. He's like a tiger, like not like a house cat. He's like a tiger cat,
Really big cat.
really big tiger. He's
So
sleeps in the
sketch.
goddamn
How did the
house.
movie go?
So the movie was essentially about Kong being in
He had to level up. He had to get his power glove.
Hollow Earth. He was looking for his own kind in Hollow Earth and comes across a subterranean
Hollow Earth.
So there's like Earth, the crust of Earth under Hollow Earth, and then another level of subterranean
Well, no, that'd be in between the crust and the hollow, because the hollow earth is in the center. So that's subterranean from the hollow earth is actually closer to the thing, unless it's magic. There's just magic. There's also just fucking magic in this movie. They went like kaiju aren't real, but he just went. It's just fucking magic now.
Okay, we're getting crazy.
The geology major in me, with my bachelor's in science and my understanding of the Earth's crust, you guys are making me want to kill myself right now. With your understanding of the crust.
There is a crystal that controls another kaiju because that's it. They don't give a fuck that we understand this. It's, the crystal controls them.
This is the worst review ever.
Boom. That's magic. It's just fucking magic.
This is, okay, we're starting over now, right?
But
we're starting over now?
I fucking love the movie. It was great.
We're starting over now, right?
Why?
Because this is the most incoherent fucking babbly shit ever. This is terrible.
Hey, there are good reviews all over YouTube. YouTube needs a review like this.
Garth. Your pills?
Garth, come on, relax, all right? Your pills?
And we're back.
We're so back.
All right, go ahead. You start it over again.
Hi, welcome to Trash Day, the first episode ever.
How did we go from such a good job last time to this?
Ben's off his fucking rocker.
I only took one today.
How many are you supposed to take?
There's a lot of neon in this movie. They max out the neon. It's very bright. These two movies are that's why we're doing this comparison. The two movies are very, very different. Very dark versus very, very. I got 90s vibes. I was like, ooh, this is like a 90s spectacle movie. This is good. I actually cared about the human characters. They put the humans in there just enough.
80s.
80s what?
80s.
80s
fucking synthwave. Fucking.
Oh, the music. Oh, dude, the music.
Yeah.
Dude, the music.
Nobody knows what we're talking about right now.
It was great.
Nobody has any idea what the fuck we're talking about right now.
They watch the movie and then they know.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, I give it 5 Letterkennys out of 10.
2.
Trailer Park Boys.
No. I'm talking about the first one. The Godzilla 2014. Give it 5 Letterkennys out of 10. Because Jared Kiso, who plays Wayne in Letterkenny, is the jump leader.
How are you now?
Son of a bitch! I was trying to figure out where I recognized him from.
Yep. And all I could hear was him shouting orders like, "Oh, here's fucking spare parts, pod!"
And now for something completely different.
The Muto sound design.
That or the...
Well, no, it didn't sound like that's not the sound that they made. Obviously.
No, I thought... Never mind, go ahead.
That was it. I thought it was great sound design. I love the sound design for the Muto. I like the Mutos. I thought they were really cool. I thought they were it was bold to introduce Godzilla.
Are we specifically talking about the first one at this point?
Right now.
Okay, right now we are talking about Godzilla 2014.
Yep.
13 minutes in, we're specifically talking about a singular movie at this time.
This is a review meant specifically for ADHD people. They're following this. Everybody ADHD is like, oh, I get it. I get what's going on here.
Thank God I don't have ADHD. I was really wondering for a couple of years now.
Right. Anyways, so I thought the Mutos were cool. I thought it was bold that you're gonna open the franchise with your own monster creation, like Godzilla versus, instead of bringing some other one in there. It's on the mic now.
Yeah, it all is. Every single time you hit the fucking table, it's on the mic.
I really think the Mutos were a play on the Clover from Cloverfield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're
very
similar to that.
Cloverfield-like.
I think it was a bold choice to have a Godzilla movie where the last half hour was speckled with Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's a bold choice there, Cotton.
Let's see if it pays off for him.
Here's the crazy part. All right, so the last Muto fight went real quick. Smash! I kill the male. I go over to the female, and the kiss of death, which is, everybody's seen that at this point, right? And then everybody's like cheering Godzilla and like, yeah, Godzilla. It's like, dude, he's just a big ass fucking monster that lived. You know what I mean? It's not like the Mutos. Oh, the Mutos were bad, and clearly Godzilla's good. And it's like, dude, that's a lot of damage. Like, why are you just cheering him on? Like, he's still a giant monster. Like, I'd be scared of my fucking wits.
Yeah, but he didn't intentionally hurt people. Like, he was on a mission to kill the Mutos, and the bridge was just in the way. The buildings were just in the way.
The people were in the way.
Were just in the way.
All that's in the
I mean,
way.
collateral damage, man. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's what I didn't understand. They were like, the part where Godzilla shows up in Honolulu, right? And then they're like, oh, the Muto's on the move east. You better saddle up. We're on our way. And all of a sudden, he's being escorted by fucking aircraft carriers.
Like a fleet.
Yeah.
And they're like next to it.
You're just trying to fucking kill this dude, right? Now, you're just like, oh.
And on that note, the admiral the whole time was like, nukes. We're using nukes, but we're also going to flank and essentially escort Godzilla to the fight.
To the fucking mainland.
Yeah. Real bright.
There was just a lot of time. Like, what frustrated me was watching it and seeing Godzilla show up, and then like a quick slash, and then they're panning away. You know what we were talking about the misdirection shit. This whole Godzilla movie should have been called Godzilla Misdirected.
Yeah.
You know, because it was like, there's Godzilla. So, how about Ford over here?
Especially by comparison, there's a certain amount that I appreciate the lack of Godzilla. Like, I think it was too much.
Too much lack of?
Too much lack of. Yeah, exactly. Too much lack of Godzilla. You know, that's coherent. I know what I'm talking about. All right. So as I was watching Godzilla X Kong, there was one point where I'm just like, I'm 100% watching a CGI movie right now. And like a vast majority of the movie is just straight up CGI. It wasn't bad per se, but just this one point where I'm just like, yep, I can see that this is CGI. Like, this does not even look remotely. Like, I feel like I'm watching a cartoon right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I like the spectacle. It's like, it's all over. And there was a lot of monster fights and all this kind of stuff. My biggest criticism about the monster fights in the interim was just like we got to see the Scylla one, but boom, it was all over. Like, we didn't see a fight. We saw a slaughter. And then Tiamat, like, we didn't even see that. Just all of a sudden, bloop, 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 there's pieces. And I'm like, so Godzilla kills Tiamat, and then he took the time to slice it up, so the presentation was nice for us at the surface.
To be fair, he's wrapped up and going.
To be fair,
yeah.
With his. Okay, now
whoa! You're gonna mention Letterkenny. I'm gonna go with to be fair, and I'm gonna throw that out there, and you're just gonna ignore that shit.
Yeah.
To
be fair,
he hasn't said a damn word about anything.
Anyway,
so Hui,
yeah,
tell us about your experience with Godzilla.
It's Godzilla!
I personally really enjoyed Godzilla 2014. A lot of what I enjoyed, what he was saying before, was the Muto. I really did like what they did with them. The comparison to what you see a lot in nature, with like male versus female versions of a species, where the female is much larger than the male.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the scenes like where towards like the mid and end when they're in San Francisco, and the action before the battle even begins, when you see the Muto come out of the clouds and that like that diving sequence it makes into the sea when it crashes into one of the naval ships.
Yep.
It did not look very CGI, which I appreciated.
Right.
And
well, that's what the low lighting helped accomplish.
Yeah, but one of the most I'll give it to the production team for the scene where Ford, along with all of them, are doing the halo jump, and they come like as they're coming down through that, like you can hear the breathing in their face masks. You could see the red flares, a very epic scene jumping out, like, and then when they break through that upper cloud wall.
Yeah.
Like, and you can they pan way out over the city, and you can see the destruction, and you just start seeing like the streams of the red coming down. I thought that was like cinematic fucking masterpiece.
I don't understand how it got so goddamn dark with 2 layers of cloud cover.
I don't either. You could put it to the fact that like both like the 2 Muto and Godzilla were already just like blowing up tons of shit. Like amongst all the debris, the smoke, there was explosions happening. That creates a lot of smoke.
It's in the air.
And thank you. But personally, I thought it was a good movie. But for a Godzilla movie, I agree in the fact that there was not a lot of Godzilla.
Yeah,
Godzilla
as a monster movie, cool. In the vein of like Cloverfield or something like that. Yeah. In my opinion, was okay. As a Godzilla movie, trash.
Yeah. As a Godzilla movie, you did not have... I mean, Godzilla came in, did the smackdown. This one actually made Godzilla seem less godlike. Despite him winning the fights...
Mm-hmm. He took a beating.
He took a beating and struggled throughout it. And like there was the portion where the whole building falls on Godzilla after he kills the first Muto. Mm-hmm. And then he comes back up, but that second kill,
like a fucking ninja.
Yeah, like a ninja. The second Muto kill seemed very like, okay, this movie we've been producing, we got to cut it off. Yeah, because he just comes out of nowhere, grabs the mouth, like nuclear blast down the throat, screams, throws the head off, and then falls down and dips off into the sea. Boom, end of movie. Like, it was like, oh shit, we made this too long.
I did like the fact that they showed that, like, Godzilla was, like, tiring. Mm-hmm. I appreciated that. I mean, you're right in the regards, like, this was a more dramatic film. They made a lot of choices, and that's why the critics gave it a better score than they did the audience, and why it's, like, the critics gave a really bad score. Not really bad. It's 54% for the other one, but 91% from audience. Mm-hmm. Because this is what people want from a Godzilla movie, the Godzilla X Kong. And you can kind of, like, if you know, and I'm not like an expert or anything, but if you know the history of Godzilla movies, this is how it goes. First Godzilla movie is a serious movie about themes. It has a story to tell. But everybody wants to see the giant lizard go dominate some other monster, right? Mm-hmm. So each successive movie has gotten more and more to that. And if you look at back in the Showa era, like by the end of it became comical because it went from, Godzilla is representative of this disaster. And for those of you that don't know, it's not the bomb that fell. It was actually an incident that involved a fishing ship where there was some nuclear fallout that fell on them. They got radiation sickness. I think some of them died, maybe some of them lived. I'm not 100% sure. Again, I'm not a scholar, but that's actually where Godzilla came from, was that. And it's depicted in the beginning of that movie. And it's a serious film. And then they just get crazier and crazier because it's getting more towards that spectacle. And that's what's happening. I thought this was a good spectacle.
Yeah. And
the second, X-Con.
I've liked all the movies. I've seen all of them.
I'll tell you what, if
and
side note to the other one, I feel like I remember a lot of people saying about the 2014 Godzilla, I feel like I remember them saying there wasn't enough Godzilla in it.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, 100%.
Side note to that. But I will say that I enjoyed X-Kong way more than 2014. The soundtrack was fucking cool as hell.
Yeah.
They
got James Gunn for this. It sounded like
synthwave.
Really,
fucking. I mean, even the choice with Kiss's "I Was Made for Loving You." I was made for loving you, baby.
I remember the Twilight Zone. I liked the edit that they did. They didn't just play the track all the way through. They stopped it, and then they played the coming into the Twilight Zone, like separate from the rest of the track, and then they ended it. I was like, they got some good sound people on this movie.
I don't like Kiss, by the way, so I don't think that was a good choice, but I think it fit for the selection.
The soundtrack of Godzilla 2014, to me, kind of sounded very like third-party Hans Zimmer. Like, they tried to make it epic in a lot of points, but like it just didn't. The scores didn't hit. the way that I really would have liked them to. But I will say there were some moments where they played like a bit of older music, like when the fireman is trying to break into the tower building as the Muto's in Vegas. And I honestly, for the life of me, can't remember the song that they played, but it was almost like comical that they they come into the building and then it pans around to like the whole half of the building broken off, and it's just like helicopters flying by, and it's like
I feel like that's the big
sweet,
difference.
like 80s kind of song or 70s song.
I feel like that's the big difference in soundtrack is that X Kong, I could sit there and be like, yes, this is fucking cool, and I couldn't tell you any of the music from the 2014.
Yeah.
Like I'm
they're different.
looking and 10 years apart. Yeah, of course they're going to be different.
Because I mean, this was made definitely to capture that Marvel crowd that's getting sick of what they're seeing.
Yeah.
That's what this was for. Like, again, like I said, I didn't mind the human parts. Normally in the Godzilla King of the Monsters with Ghidorah, I just like, get these people off the goddamn screen. I couldn't stand. Yeah, a whole bunch of characters. So there's a whole swath of them. Swath. If you don't know, you'll know someday.
Someday soon,
all right.
Perhaps.
So there's this whole big cast of characters that I just don't give a shit about. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to know anything about these people. Just I want to see Ghidorah and Rodan and Mothra. Like, you're gonna cram this full of goddamn monsters. Show 'em.
Yeah.
And they did. Yeah. They did show them a lot. Like, I got to those parts, but every time I watch it, I just go through that. Especially, so one of the first scenes is where we meet, and he's one of the few returning characters. That's the other thing I find interesting. Like, you had Heisenberg and Scarlet Witch and Kick-Ass, and the first one, they're just gone. They're like, fuck these people.
Different part of the world, different people.
Yeah, Ford comes back in this
But
one.
we do have Serizawa. Like, we have some characters that carry through a little bit.
Well, just because, I mean, like, he would be the foremost Godzilla expert.
Yeah.
You know. But, so we get the conspiracy theory guy, but one of the first scenes is, it's his office in some official building or whatever, and it's entirely neon lit. Like, it's a comic book. Like, you would see a panel of a comic book depicting this, and you would see those weird colors to just give it that, like, atmosphere.
Yeah.
But, like, you know that if you went to a real office building, it's going to be, like, regular lights. You know what I mean?
Bright fluorescent lighting.
But, like, you get these, like, cool, like, colored lights and all this kind of stuff.
Talking about the guy doing his blog or whatever?
No, yeah, but he's, like, at his job or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's doing, but I'm like, oh, it's one of these. It's a stylized movie. And, like, we see that a lot, like, all the neon lights and everything, which is also what makes it very far
Ace
apart
Ventura
from...
hippy dippy.
Alrighty then.
Oh, my God, I love that. That was great. And he was wearing the right shirt and everything. It's great. Like, there was definitely a lot of, like, what I could understand why some people would think it was a little bit cringy humor. And that's the other thing is, like, the monsters, like, they did this in Godzilla versus Kong. They had Godzilla go, like, they focus on his face, and they do that. And they had a lot more of this of, like, the monsters are like, wink, wink, kind of a thing, and it's just like...
Yeah. There were definitely some parts where I'm not entirely sure that the director made the choice to make it humorous. But there were a couple parts where I was the only one laughing in the theater.
Yeah. I mean, I have a twisted sense of humor, too, so I feel you.
First, the first part was, spoilers, Kong takes the little ginger chimp and starts swinging him around like a club.
You're not spoiling anything. That's one of the big things. Like, if you are on the internet at all, you know that scene exists.
Okay, well, I'm not on the internet at all. So
okay.
that was, dude, I let out a hearty laugh at that. But then...
You can't spoil this movie because it's a Godzilla movie. Everybody knows what happens, and it's already on the internet.
So, and then there was another part where the last giant chimp is running from Kong, and he picks up a huge boulder and launches it, and it hits the chimp in the back of the head, but then you see the chimp's face go, ooh, and it fucking drops to the ground. Dude,
I can't
audibly
not
laughing
think
at that.
of Crocodile Dundee whenever I see something like that.
Yeah.
That scene where he does exactly the same thing with a can of soup or peas or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy's running, he just hucks it and does it. And so I immediately thought of that.
Dude, the face of the chimp just had me rolling.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
All right. So, one, I can't remember the first thing I want to say, so I'll do the second part. I really like the sound design of the Scar King, but just not for
As a dinosaur.
the Scar King. Yeah, like it didn't sound like they should have taken Kong and they should have just modified that. They
Yeah.
changed it however they felt like. This one sounded more like a lizard. Like
Yeah.
it sounded like more lizard-esque.
Okay, let me ask you. Do you want to see a Kong who's like a fucking... like an ape? Or do you want to see a Kong who uses weapons and traps and fucking mild evolved intelligence?
I want to see Kong, who is. It's hard to.
Wrong!
No, I want to see a combination of the two. I want to see a minorly intelligent, like more intelligent Kong who's capable of emotion at least. Like most
Gorillas?
gorillas have that capability, and I've seen in previous Kong movies where
Yeah.
they've made him more primitive than what you'd see in some primates today. Which
This Kong kind of walks upright like a Homo sapien.
Look,
I don't want to see that. I want to see gorilla.
he gorillas. All right, he definitely gorillas.
Especially
Here's the
when
thing.
he takes that little ginger chimp.
Here's the thing.
You're lesser than me. Goodbye.
Oh, he starts beating people with them.
Kong
Well, other
can't beat Godzilla. Like
No.
that was. I like how Godzilla versus Kong went down because I like Kong. I don't want Kong to be defeated by Godzilla, but I would not accept Kong beating Godzilla.
Right.
Like it just doesn't work.
Right.
It's like
I want to see a standoff that ends in a draw.
so Kong has to have that intelligence advantage because that's the only way I would accept that Kong beats Godzilla is if he uses traps or that kind of a
And
thing.
a robot arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that I don't want to see that Marvel like son of
It
a
is the Infinity Gauntlet.
we just so happen to have made a thing that's going to solve the problem that we just
no.
had happen, and it's also where we are.
See, I don't want to see the
Thanks,
use of
Godzilla movie.
traps maybe in the sense of like, okay, Kong like set up
Pitfalls
a
and
pitfall
falling
or a
rocks.
log or something like that he rolls off the top of a mountain. That's like
Well, you're in
that's
luck.
situational awareness. That's what that is. Like if you're on the top of a mountain and Godzilla or whatever else it is below you, and you look over and you see a big boulder or rock, oh yeah, that makes sense. Push it. It'll probably do a lot of damage.
In one of the opening scenes with Kong, he's getting chased by... Chased.
Jason,
Chased.
he gets chased by this something or other.
Yep.
He gets chased by these things.
He hath been chased by wargs, or what look like wargs.
Yeah, like these
they
crazy
look like
wolf
giant wargs, and yeah, well, I would say closer to like Lord of the Rings shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, they had
weird.
ugly ass
Yeah.
faces.
And he leads them through this trap, right? And then they, like, I don't understand why. Like, he's climbing around everything. Why didn't he like climb up and out of there? I realized there were traps and shit, but like,
He wanted the food. He wanted to show them who was. Remember, he did the whole like ripping it apart, and they're like,
yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
pansies.
I don't know.
It's okay. We followed Kong because Kong is human-like. This movie.
We followed Kong because it's a Godzilla movie.
Yes. It was Godzilla X Kong. Because Godzilla is the one that sells. Because Kong is too human, so he's not as much of a monster as Godzilla is. Which is why I don't like the characters. Like I don't like the humanization of Godzilla because it makes him less terrifying. And like Hollywood, if you're watching this, because I know you are, it makes Godzilla less fucking
know
terrifying when you make him like a person or like a fucking cat. He sleeps in the Coliseum now. Did
Yes.
you know that?
Like a cat in a box.
I did not know that. I know because I didn't see it.
We should also do a Godzilla -1. which is the one that actually won an Oscar.
Let's finish this one. Do you want to start this one from scratch, or are we good? I got lots more to say, but I think we're at the half-hour mark, and people are tuned out already.
All right, so Hui, we'll start with you. What did you give? What would you rate Godzilla 2014?
2014, I'd rate it probably 6 kittens out of 10 nuclear blasts.
Atomized kittens.
The cat with two heads.
And that's solely because they
the
had
cat with
some
two heads.
phenomenal cinematic moments
Yeah.
that I think were very well done. And I appreciated that Godzilla 2014 kind of brought a lot more lore aspect to the
Well, it gave a little bit more backstory.
That's what I mean. More lore and
Although
backstory.
I will say what's cool is that there's kind of like the way they did from what I saw of the Apple TV Monarch show about
Which
Godzilla.
is what those people are. They're Monarch.
Right.
Like the
I feel
butterfly.
like it just ties in pretty well from what I saw about like the blast and everything. So,
Yeah. So
Ben.
that's my reasoning.
I get it a 7.1 on the Richter scale.
Oh,
That goes a lot higher than...
I don't give a fuck. You figure out the Richter scale on your own. I give it a 7.1. You find out how much devastation that causes.
probably a few buildings. I'm sticking with my 5 out of 10 letter Kennys.
Just 5
Just 5.
out of 10 letter Kennys?
There was a significant amount of this movie that left me bored.
Yeah, well, to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair.
There we go. We got it. We did it. It's a non sequitur, but we did it.
Yep. Now, Godzilla X Kong.
What about it?
What would you rate it?
Oh, what would I rate it?
Yes.
Oh, I give it an entire neon dance floor out of a club.
Okay.
I guess that's a lot of the dance floor. Yeah.
That's the whole dance floor.
Yep. But out of a whole club.
Okay.
You know.
Out of a whole club. Do you just give it a dance floor out of the club?
I gave it the whole dance floor out of the whole club.
Okay.
Then if you want, you can put it in the hole. Club.
Yep. I'll give it a 6.5 Ace Ventura Hippie Dippies. I enjoyed this one a lot more. I think it was more fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I think the soundtrack was cool.
Godzilla suplexes Kong just like a wrestling move.
Yep.
Godzilla does a wrestling move on Kong.
I like it.
Yep.
I might actually watch it.
I hate it.
That was going to be
but
my
I
next
love it at the
question.
same time. I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
Yeah. It's like Undertaker just...
I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is trash and garbage. I don't want to see this. But like this is where it's going. I knew this was going to be how it was going to be. As soon as I saw the trailers and I saw Pink Fin Godzilla, I'm like, yep, I know exactly what this movie's going to be like. But it was better. It was better than I expected. I will definitely say that.
Yeah, for sure. Like the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, I don't know. And then it started picking up. I was like, all right. Yeah. So what do you think, Hui? Something you want to see?
I think based on the kind of synthwave music that you're talking about, the conglomerate of all the monsters that I haven't seen in Godzilla movies, I think I'll definitely find myself watching it. Will I go to the theaters to watch it? Probably not. But that's me because I don't go to the theaters a lot.
Do you have a good at home system?
Sound system?
Theater?
No. Not that I can hear over 2 bulldogs barking constantly and my wife talking about her plants, but besides that, yeah, I'll probably watch it at home most definitely.
Is that another kaiju? Oh no, it's just my wife talking to her plants.
Bev, I love you.
She didn't watch it.
She doesn't watch this shit now. She thinks I'm a loser.
And
that'll
end it.
That'll end it. So long. Goodbye.
Swamp of Sadness.
Swamp of Sadness.
So I don't think there's any.
I'll find one. Here it is.
Swamp of Sadness.
We're not supposed to discuss it now. They're supposed to find out when we do the cut. And here is
Your
whatever we
Sad.
swamped in the sadness department.
It's probably going to be crying Branston crying over his dead wife.
That's fucking brutal. Just talked about my wife.
This is your swamp of sadness.